Okay, hello everyone, and of course, so we are going to have the continuation of our lesson the last time, which is communication process and its components. Let us start this, but first, a word from our sponsor, Yakult. Let us discuss the levels of communication. We have verbal communication. It involves words, may that be spoken, just like what I am doing, written, just like what you are seeing on your screen, and of course, signed, which is used by deaf and mute people. So, why is sign language under the verbal communication, even though if it does not use words? Well, in fact, it uses words. In words, or the words that they use are equivalent to gestures. Or we can say that the gestures that they do are equivalent to words. So, no matter who you are talking with, if you make a sign, a certain sign that is universally understood by all people who understand sign language. We also have a non-verbal communication. In this one, it includes body language such as gestures, facial expressions, eye contact, and posture. The way that you stand, the way that you look at someone else, the way that you contort your faces, the way that you anything similar to that is under the nonverbal communication. So yun po. You cannot look someone in the eye. That is indicative of something. That also has meanings. The way that you stand in front of someone also conveys meaning. We also have the intrapersonal communication. It occurs within one person. It occurs within yourself. If you talk with yourself, if you have this inner monologue within yourself, then that is under intrapersonal communication. We also have interpersonal communication. So what is this? It occurs between two or more persons who establish communicative relationship, or they already have an established relationship. What are those? May that be you to your parents, you to your friends, you to your crush, or whatever relationship that you have with other people. So if you try to talk to them, it's under the interpersonal communication. We also have public communication. It is the type of communication in which a speaker sends a message to an audience. Most of the times, that audience is concentrated, or it has a fixed number or a fixed type of people. Examples of this are sauna, graduation speeches, meeting the avance, and anything that is similar to those situations. Next one is dun, 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 functions of communication. In this one, we are going to talk about what are the uses, or basically that's it. What is the use of communication like at all? Let's start this. Number one, we have needs, or we communicate to meet our needs. A species' survival depends critically upon its ability to communicate effectively. So it says species. The word is species. So we are inferring that it is not only a matter of looking at humans. Other animal species also communicate to their own kind because of something. For example, is a lion trying to defend his kill, or a lion trying to defend his territory, or a dog barking at a person because he is intruding to that dog's territory, which is, our houses. And of course, we say that this is absolutely true for humans. We communicate to meet our needs, and going back to your lesson in psychology, you know that we have what we call the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. What is that? That is it tells us the needs of a person to be whole or something. You get the general idea. But one of those needs is the need to connect to other people. It is not a desire, it is not just a want, it is not something that we just fancy, it is something that we need to connect to our family, to connect with a significant other, to someone, to feel loved or to love. Those are our needs. And people who fail to communicate, those are our needs. Number two, we communicate to enhance and maintain our sense of self. Because we communicate, we learn who we are and what we can do. You know that you are capable of doing this. You know that you are capable of speaking to a lot of people. You know your limits, and you know that if you do this, you are going to fail or succeed. You know that because you have this sense of yourself. You know who you are. Why? Because you communicate with yourself. Remember what I said earlier, that there is what we call intrapersonal communication. And one of the functions of that communication is to have a better understanding of ourselves. Number three, we communicate to fulfill social obligations. We greet people, we talk to them, and communicate with them in order to meet our social obligations. And those social obligations depend from one person to another. Like you have a different social obligation to your classmates than to your friends. And of course, you have a different social obligation to your parents compared to your instructors. And the way that you talk with them depends heavily on what type of obligation you have with those people. There are people that you are going to greet because you feel obliged to greet that person. One example of this is your instructor. And there are people that you can just leave for months or so, and when you come back to them, it feels like nothing happened. Those happens with your friends, your best friend, for example. And with that, you can say that you have a completely different social obligation with those people. Number four, we communicate to develop relationships. What are those? Through communication, we develop relationship with other people. It's either we develop or we maintain those relationships. You want to be still friends with this particular person. Of course, you just have to maintain the communication that you already have. Or if you want to cut someone out of your life because you feel the need to do so, then you can just stop talking with them. And in that way, stopping your communication completely also severs your ties with that person. That's number 4. Number 5, we communicate to exchange information. Some information we get from reading Facebook, GC, and similar platforms. We also observe people to get information from them. If you saw this person reacted to this, then you are going to know that this person is this kind of person. We also get information from media through communicating with others. Like when your classmate texted you or chatted you that you will not have classes later, and that is just an example of this, falls under number 5. However, it's not just about exchanging information. If you got your information without giving something back, it still falls under number 5. If your classmate told you that Sir Isla is not going to be around, then your classmate told you that Sir Isla is not going to be around, and you were not able to offer an information back, that is still acceptable. We can say that we communicate to give or take information, not give and take information. So number 6, we communicate to influence others. We use communication in encouraging and persuading others towards something like motivating a friend to study for an exam. You want others to do something that you want, we use communication. Otherwise, you cannot do something. By the way, even silence can influence other people, right? Let us say that your friends are going somewhere and you want to tag along with them, but you do not feel like speaking up. What you can do is you can just be quiet and look at them until they found out. And that is what we call passive aggression. We can say that passive aggression is in one way or another under number 6. Mostly this is done by salesperson who salespeople who want you to buy what they are selling. Of course, they cannot just go to you and say, "Ate, kuya, bilhin mo na to. Sige na, bilhin mo na to. No, they do not do that. What they do is they show you what the product can do. Like, ito pong panluto na to, itong pan na to, umiinit na po siya kahit hindi ilagay sa kalan. So, makakatipid na po kayo ng gasol. Or, something like, bili na po kayo ng lipstick na ito, na pagka meron po kayo nito, ay hindi nyo na po kailangan maglagay ng asukal sa mga kape nyo, kasi ito po, nakakatamis na rin siya ng asukal. Basta ipahid nyo lang sa labi nyo at lahat ng malasahan nyo tatamis. Kahit asin. So, that is for number 6. May ganun kaya. Parang aware na lipstick na nagpapatamis ng lahat. Pati ng mga pagsasama niyong pumapait na. Okay. Number 7, we have yun na pala yung last. Sorry naman. So, continuing with this, as you can see, even my bloopers and my mistakes are recorded in this class. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please feel free to not comment at all, because I will not answer your comments if you are not part of my class. But you can bash me and I will bash you back. The last one in this video is the principles of communication, in which we are going to talk about why we need to communicate and what is the need, or what is the purpose of communication like at all, right? Number one, communication is purposive. And so when we say purposive, the purpose of communication may be trivial or unimportant or significant or important. But one way of evaluating if communication is successful is if it has accomplished its purpose. We tell jokes, the example of this is we tell jokes to our classmates, to our friends, right? If we crack a joke, that is one form of communication. If they laugh, then you can say that the communication or the attempt to communicate is successful. Ayun po. That can be trivial, like telling a joke, or that can be significant, like announcing to your classmates that you have to give or you have to get or you have to take 20 pesos from them for a project, like that. Yan. Communication is also continuous. Communication happens non-stop. Even silence is a form of communication. We do not actually stop communicating. We just stop when we are dead. Because the dead man tell no tales. O ang patay na tao ay hindi nakakapagkwento. Ayan. So even though that person or one person stayed quiet, that person is also communicating to you something like pakiusap, wag mo akong kausapin, right? And then you are going to ask, sir, hindi nyo naman po kami chinachat sa pagitan ng klase, hindi nyo rin po kami binibigyan ng kahit ano. Sir, hindi. That means you are not communicating with us. Well, I can say that I am still communicating with you, right? I am you can infer that I am not giving you anything. So you can assume or you can just not ask me about something if I am not giving you anything. Like you cannot ask me the deadline of this activity if I am not giving you any activities at all, right? Sir, kailan po yung pasahan ng activity number 952? And then I am going to say, ano pinagsasasabi mo? Wala pa naman akong binibigay noon. Nag-assume ka lang ba? Di ba wala ka? So, as you can see, not saying something is also a form of communication. Because we infer something from it. Right? Ay, tahimik si ganito. Bakit kaya? Wala pa akong binibigay na announcement si sir. Bakit kaya? So, those fall under this one. Continuous being, Communication being continuous. We also have this. Communication messages, a very unconscious encoding. It may occur spontaneously, or you may not think about it that much, like greeting a friend. You do not think about it that much, right? Babatiin ko ba tong tao na to? No, you do not do that. It's sometimes unconscious. So in this one, it talks about communication being unconscious to conscious, or being not much thought about, or being heavily thought of. It could also be based on learned scripts. When we say learned scripts, we use that always. Or it could be constructed based on the understanding of a situation. Like in the face-to-face classes, you talk with your classmates in a harsh voice or in a whisper. Why? Because you understand that you cannot speak aloud because you are inside the class. So that is under this. Communication varies in conscious encoding. Next one, we have communication is relational. When we say communication is relational, in any communication setting, people not only share meanings but also negotiate and enhance their relationship. We negotiate, and that cannot be removed from communication. Like, if you're talking with your friends about hanging out somewhere, please be cautious about hanging out somewhere because we still are in the middle of a pandemic. If you negotiate with them, you are going to plan things ahead, right? Like buying food for that occasion. Negotiating with your friends on how much they are going to contribute to buy something, like a gift if someone has a birthday, pizza if you feel like it, and similar situations. And also, if two lovers are falling out and then the other one said, ayusin natin to. Hindi, wag na. Pakiusap. Mahal pa kita. Ayoko na, Cardo. Similar to that. I am embarrassing myself making this. That is also a form of negotiation. Why? Because it enhances relationships. It also plays a role in developing, maintaining, or dissolving relationship. You want to be close with this person, talk to him or her a lot. You want to cut this person out of your life, stop talking with this person. You want to be to make friends with that person, you start talking with that person. It seldom happens that two people became friends without even saying anything to each other. Ayun. And as you can see, even introverts have friends, right? If we, because I am also an introvert, if we are quiet, chances are there are extroverts that will adopt us. Lalapit sa'yo at sasabihin, uy, tol, tahimik mo dyan, halika dito, aampunin na kita. And then the next thing you know is you are close friends, right? Extroverted people are, I don't know, for some reason they are magical people. They are they are not hesitant to just approach you and disturb the little world that you live in. My goodness. Continuing with this, we have communication has its ethical implications. In communication, we must recognize some ethical standards. And we learned, even though you do not even learn it yet, like at all, we learned that ethics is the way that we see things in what? Is that right? Is that wrong? And that is ethics. There are different ethical views on different fields, right? So, a malpractice in medicine is completely or has a completely different ethical gravity than a malpractice in education. If a teacher said, oops, I'm wrong, uy, sorry, nagkamali ako. And then, you can just forgive me because I can go back to my slide and I can correct that, right? But if a surgeon says, oops, nagkamali ako, and you are the patient, hindi pwedeng sabihin ng doktor na, teka lang ha, i-rearrange ko lang yung organs mo, nagkamali ako ng lagay ng tiyan eh. They cannot do that. So, different discipline requires different sets of ethical consideration. And communication is not an exemption. Also, communication is learned. We are not born able to communicate. A child cries, a child wails, hindi balyena ha. O yung tumatangis ang isang bata, umiiyak, humahagulgol, umaangol minsan. The child does that because he or they learned that if they cry, they are going to get what they want. If their logic is simple. If I cry, it equals milk. If I cry, it equals comfort. If I cry, it equals getting a comfy sleep. That's what they learned. So the key word there is the word learn. And as we grow up, we still learn. We learn a lot of things. We learn how to talk with people. We learn some skills in talking. We learn how to be deceptive at times. Natututo kayong mambola, right? Ang pambobola naman ay hindi isang natural na bagay. Ito'y natututunan din. So, there you have it. Communication is learned. It is not something that is natural. A Japanese person, a Japanese infant will not automatically speak Japanese if he is born, right? What if the Japanese is born in the Philippines and it's exposed to a lot of Filipino words? Then chances are that child is going to learn Filipino, not Japanese. So, in the same vein, we can say that a child from a Filipino parent born in Japan is not going to learn absolute Filipino. He is going to learn Nihongo. So that's it. Communication is learned. And that's the last part of the principles of communication, or what is true with communication. Let us deal with the last set of slides we have. We are going to talk about communication ethics. We are going to learn how to be an ethical communicator or speaker according to Berko. Okay, let us start this. The first one is speak with sincerity. You have to be always sincere. Why? Because the way you speak is also your identity. If a person is a liar, you're going to attach the label liar to that person. If I tell lies, then you can say, si Sir Isla, sinungaling naman yan. Ayun na naman yung sinungaling na yun, no? See, as you can see, adjectives like that are attached to a person simply because of the way they speak. If you speak with sincerity, of course, that word will be attached to your name. If I say, ay, si Pedro, ay, oo, makatotohanan yan, grabe. Lahat ng sinasabi niyan, totoo. So, huwag kang mag-alala kung ano man sabihin niyan. Halimbawa, sinabi niya, pangit ka, maniwala ka. Number 2, it does not knowingly expose an audience to falsehood or half-truth that can cause significant harms. Falsehood or lies, it is basically connected to number 1. And from this point on, everything is connected by a thin line of truthfulness and falsehood. So in this one, do not expose the people that you talk to falsehood or even half-truth. Consider that half-truth is also a lie. If you do not, for example, saan ka pupunta? Ayun, aalis. Pupunta kami ng dagat. Bakit? Sinong kasama mo? Tropa. At saka may ilang babae. Babae? Oo. Tropa. They said that, which is technically the truth, but the person did not include the fact that one of those girls is the person's other lover kalaguyo, kumbaga. So, in that situation, that person lied because he did not say the truth, or he did not say everything. He did not truthfully say everything. He said the part that they are going to the beach, that there are, of course, friends, but he omitted some parts of his statement. Number 3, it does not premeditatedly alter the truth. So you do not say lies, and you do not change the truth. Number 4, present the truth as she or he understands it. Of course, you are not going to teach a 7-year-old child about your course, right? If you're going to be asked by a 7 or 5-year-old, most of us have our, I don't know, already uncles and aunties when we have 6 or 7-year-old. Well, I have a 4-year-old niece, and if my niece asks me, Tito, anong ginagawa mo? I cannot just say, nagtuturo ako ng subject na retorika kung saan kailangang maging maayos tayong maging tagapagsalita sa harap ng maraming tao at maraming konsiderasyon yun. Napakarami. No, you cannot say that. You can say, si Tito nagtuturo. Ano pong student nyo? Ang mga student ko, sila yung mga gusto magtapos ng pag-aaral upang maging... No, you do not say that. You adjust the way you talk with your audience. If those people can already understand profound things or complicated matters, then you can complicate things, right? Or it is not only applicable to the age bracket, it also is applicable to the profession. If you are going to, if I'm going to ask you, ano bang ginagawa ng BM? Hindi ko kasi alam eh. You cannot just complicate things as you explained. As you explain. Why? Because at some point, I will not understand it. We have 2 different disciplines. So, if I am going to explain some parts of what I learned from college, I'm going to simplify it for you because we have 2 different disciplines. Ayun. Try mo magpa-explain sa quantum physicist ng isang bagay na komplikado, baka masira ulo mo. So, you're going to stop that scientist and say, pwede bang paliwanag mo sa maiintindihan kong term. Then that's it. Of course, that is acceptable simply because you are from 2 different fields. You are from, let us say, you are from the business management field, and that person that you are talking with is from the scientific community. Ayun. If the person is going to talk to you profoundly in scientific ways, you are not going to understand everything that they are saying. Have you read a thesis about physics? Do not even try, because I am interested in physics and I understand absolutely nothing. Number 5, it raises the listener's level of expertise by supplying necessary facts. You do not just say something, you support it with facts. Number 6, employ messages that are free from mental as well as physical coercion. You do not just force your listener to believe or to accept anything. No, you give them the freedom to decide for themselves. Why? You are just a speaker, and the choice is up to them. So, if any, for example, if this person says that if you are a member of this religion, then I'm sorry, or not sorry at all, whatever. If this person says that you are not going to be saved unless he signed your clearance, if you know what I am referring to, then good. If not, do not ask me any further questions. If that person is telling you to listen to him, or else you are going to be damned to eternal damnation, then do not believe in that person, because that person is using coercion. And by the use of coercion, any people who does that is being unethical. And number 7, we do not just invent or fabricate information. No, we do not do that. We are liars if we do that. If your classmate says, "Uy, walang klase si sir mamaya," and that's an invention, that's a lie, you fabricated information, and that person actually believes it, then that will cause harm to that person. And number 8, give credit to the sources of information. You already learned this in high school. And I hope that nobody or no one from this, no one who listens to this video or who watch this video use credits to the owner. Using CTTO is in one way or another not recognizing the person who cited, or not recognizing the source of that information, right? If I just grabbed, if you posted, this is an example, if you posted something, let us say a witty line, like if you posted this, nasa dugo talaga ni Sir Isla yung pagiging gwapo, wala sa mukha. And then you like that, and because of that, you borrowed the said quotation and posted that on your wall, on your Facebook account, and you just use CTTO, then that is actually violating citations. The APA and the MLA citations never ever said anything about using CTTO. So never use those, okay? Pakiusap. Wag na. Tag the person. Or write the person's name, or say a source. If you are using Facebook and you want to cite everyone, cite someone who is an inspiration to what you posted, then and you cannot remember how to write APA citations, then you can just include their names in your post. Simple as that. Just do not use CTTO. Pakiusap naman. Ayan. Domo arigato, minasan. Thank you for listening, and this has been Sir Isla, and this ends our video for today. And ciao, goodbye. So this episode of Wasting Time with Sir Isla is brought to you by Yakult. Yakult every day, okay. Yeah.